Hello and welcome to the Easy Allies podcast. I'll be your moderator, Brandon Jones. Joining me this week, panelists Michael Damiani.
Hello.
Ian Hank.
Hello.
And my tracking co-moderator, Daniel Bloodworth.
Yo.
Been looking at a lot of trackers lately.
Trackers.
You've been charting progress across fundraising elements and tracking.
Okay.
That was
What
2
is the
weeks
reference?
ago.
It took me a while.
Ancient history.
Still tracking
Ancient
them, man.
history.
He's writing up trackers for our patrons to track all the stuff that we're getting done, that we got to do, thanks to EasyX. Distinguished guests, we are here to discuss some of the biggest headlines in the world of video games, but before we do that, we must first answer for all of the mistakes that we made last week. Bloodworth, begin corrections music, please. Ian, I don't even know when to start. It's going to be tough. There were a lot of bumps. Ian, you had to give us corrections for 2 people. You did a pretty good job last week, remember?
Oh, okay.
You had to fill in for Ben for part of that. Floatador 7, a couple of these are me. I remember your voice over 2 game trailers April Fool's videos. One revealed that Alucard was Dracula backwards, and in another, waiting 6 hours in a room in Batman Arkham Asylum would boot up the NES version of Batman. Does that count as participating in an April Fool's joke? Both of those definitely happened. I completely forgot both of those 100%. Damiani, that Arkham Asylum feels like you. Was that like a pop fact we did or something?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then I can't remember. Alucard Dracula backwards seems like Huber and Benj laughing about something.
I think it was a Ryan Stevens
That sounds like
thing.
a Ryan thing, yeah.
It was Ryan Stevens' April Fool's pop facts thing or whatever.
So I didn't produce either of those videos. I probably did, narration for them, so goes to show.
So you won't originate an April Fool's joke, but you'll be party to an April Fool's joke.
In those days, you throw a script my way, it doesn't stick. I'm reading it, moving on. Max A clarifies, Shotokan Karate is a real form of martial arts, though poorly represented in the Street Fighter series. Despite often being called Shotos, Ryu, Ken, and other characters practice a form of martial arts that bears little resemblance to Shotokan. Makoto, introduced in Street Fighter III Third Strike, practices Rindokan, which is a fictional form of martial arts that closely resembles Shotokan Karate in real life. Basically, Shotokan Karate is real. It does not resemble what Street Fighter calls Shotokan.
What mistake did we make? I said all of that verbatim last episode.
I know. I think it was specifically saying whether that was an art or a fart or an art or a rat.
Rat.
That's what it was.
Yeah. I think the correction is just on the entry in the game itself.
Okay.
5 million euro is actually just over $5.8 million, which is 431.4 million rupees. I didn't research or contest any of that. Guitar Hero Live was developed by Freestyle Games, now known as Ubisoft Leamington. I didn't think that was harmonics, but I don't think we said either way specifically what that was. But I enjoyed the clarification.
Yeah, it's Freestyle are the ones that did DJ Hero.
Yeah.
And corrections music, please. Whoa.
I needed to make more mistakes. I'm sorry.
And that was solid. I didn't 2 weeks in a row having no corrections would have felt weird. I would have had to move on, hang it up. And an update to last week because I felt a little bad talking that much about golf. It was interesting though. There have been developments. All 4 major Masters tournaments will be exclusive to EA Sports PGA Tour. So 2K with their first meeting that they have when
Major Masters.
when Tiger's ready to meet, and he meets with 2K, and he's like, well, first we got to have
the major
when we do the Masters, and they're like, we can't do the Masters in our game. It's not a thing you can compete in.
The Masters is a tournament.
Right, there are 4 Masters
majors.
tournaments. All 4 major Masters tournaments. All 4 of the prominent Masters.
So the British Open, PGA Tour, and U.S. Open are called Masters tournaments? I didn't know that. That's interesting.
I guess so. You're spouting some information that might throw this off. We might need an update next week. Thankfully, Damiani will still be on.
Green jacket, blue jacket. Who
the
gives
jacket.
a shit?
I don't have a color
Just
jacket
watch Happy
chart.
Gilmore.
Yes. That'll fill everything in for you. I want to start this on the right note
Historic
before we...
Masters tournament at Augusta National Golf Club.
Okay.
Yeah, that's one of them.
We were out.
Blood, we pulled us back in.
More
We were out of the golf.
The only video game where fans can compete at all 4 golf's major championships.
Right.
So the Masters tournament is one of those.
One of the majors, yeah.
And then the PGA Championship,
So the
U.S.
majors.
Open Championship, and the Open Championship.
So you win all 4 majors, you win the Grand Slam.
Got it.
I thought the majors were baseball.
Major leagues.
Grand Slam meaning the discount at Denny's, right? Isn't that like a
Yes.
Ford plate?
Yeah,
Denny's
the moon
is
over
the-
my hammy. Big League Chew.
Let's talk about something happy, darn it. A silver lining for this week, other than golf. Golf's pretty great. But
who are you?
Brendan Mercer wants to get... I've never said anything bad about golf in my life. I just don't really go into those things.
We all love golf.
You know?
We all love golf.
I just don't push it on people. Brendan Mercer wants to give silver linings to Apple Arcade and their shadow drop of some games that are made by well-known developers. Club Hans Golf, known for the Everybody's Golf series, dropped a great mobile game of golf. With a great mobile game of golf. Platinum Games released a game on the service called World of Demons, a Star Trek-style Galaxy of Heroes game, and the excellent JRPG Fantasian made by developer Mistwalker, who's fronted by...
so much about Fantasian.
I want to play.
I want to play that, but I don't have any Apple crap.
Plus 30 other games shadow dropped on Friday, the day after April Fool's as well. All of these games are great surprises, really a blast to play. The best part of this is they have no microtransactions. $5 a month is a good bargain for those games, and I'm excited to get deeper into some of them. And I've seen a lot of Reddits just about Apple Arcade and Game Pass, specifically those two things. Are just like, yay, something.
The future of gaming, bruh.
We will get into Game Pass a little bit later. But first, we had an announcement that's the best kind of announcement. Here's a game, just play the game. There you go. There's a game. Yeah. It's not going to you can potentially get this game for free depending on what service that you have, and it is out now this week. Pac-Man 99 was announced. It launched on April 7th at 6 p.m. It's the third Pac-Man Battle Royale. Do you know the other Battle Royales? There was one that was in the arcades in 2011. Do you know what that was called? Ian Hink.
No, Whoa. I said the name of the second one, but now I don't remember what it was.
Arcades, 2011. Who's going to guess it? It's a bold title.
Pac-Man 3.
Arcade. Pac-Man Versus.
Pac-Man Championship Edition?
No. What the heck would you call a Pac-Man Battle Royale?
Pac-Man Battle Royale.
There you go. Art Arcades, 2011.
Oh!
Mega Tunnel Battle came to Stadia in 2020. That was exclusive.
But it's coming to other platforms too.
Yes. I was thinking about, like, is there something we could do to have like a party when like a game finally comes to other platforms and it's been exclusive? It's like, yay! You know, like you're free. You know? Like they do, it's like picking up George Clooney at the jail in Ocean's 11, where he's just like, I made it out. He's wearing
Emancipation Party.
Mega Tunnel Battle's wearing a tux and it hasn't shaved. It's just like, can I please? The PlayStation consoles, can I please? You eat a power pellet to turn ghosts blue and make them vulnerable. Eat them to send Jammer Pac-Man to your opponents. The more ghosts you eat, the more jammers you'll send. You can eat a ghost train for a huge comeback. Pac-Man 99.
I picture the jammers singing, "We're jammers, we're jammers." You know, like we jamming. Mm-hmm. I think that would be funny.
Do you want that to happen? You don't actually picture that they're going to do that.
Well, I've played the game, so I know they don't. But I want them to do.
How's the game, Ian?
DLC.
Pac-Man 99. It was cool. Yeah, it was confusing because I downloaded the free version, which I thought was just the version. I thought all the DLCs were just cosmetic, like new level designs or whatever. But no, I guess you have to pay to get the like practice mode against 99 computer opponents and all that stuff. But the only pay option I saw was for the bundle for $25 and then like a whole bunch of like skins. So it was kind of confusing in the store. I was like, which ones?
Yeah, that's weird.
How do I just unlock this game? I didn't look into it too hard.
Yeah, I know that the thing that caught my eye was the private matches against friends, which then I'm not sure exactly how that works. Is like, do you get like all your friends and then it adds in 80 more people, or do you just literally play against however many friends will show up to your invite? And do they all have to have the play against friends DLC? I don't know.
Yeah.
Because if, you're going to have a hard time convincing 99 people to buy that.
We could easily get 99 viewers on Twitch to play Pac-Man 99 with us.
But we'd have to add them all as friends and then invite them all.
Oh, God. Okay, we're not going to do that.
Maybe.
We have a separate stream just to do that.
Unless there's like a lobby code, I don't know. We have to check.
Yeah,
we have to
hopefully.
investigate.
I'll look right now. How's that sound?
Yeah, some Nintendo Online will really bog you down if you have that many friends. Gotta be careful. How many friends you have?
I think
they
there was just a
fixed
weird
that.
bug with the
They
Monster
fixed
Hunter
that.
beta.
Oh.
Yeah, the Monster Hunter demo. They fixed it, though, allegedly.
The custom themes you can buy are based on Xevious, Galaga, Dig Dug, and more. They do more than change the graphics. Check out the sounds too.
Those sounds very important.
Okay, so I clicked I clicked on the private match thing, and it took me to the store. The first option is the $29.99 deluxe pack. The second is $14.99 mode unlock. I'm gonna go ahead and say that is overpriced.
Yeah.
$50 for a mode. There you go.
Yep.
I'm clicking mode unlock to see what modes it unlocks. Continue. Sorry, I didn't mean to.
Damiani, is this on your radar?
Yeah, when the announcement happened, it seemed like a pretty cool addition. Although the revelation of these hurdles, though, seemed to make it a little bit more difficult to get into than I first thought it would be.
I think there's similar things that are with Tetris as well. It's just they rolled out slower, so they're not as
gotcha.
And
well known.
it was, if memory serves, for Tetris it was $9.99. If memory serves.
Yeah, I think that was to play offline and stuff.
Oh, yeah. For access to that stuff.
I think you could just play it, but then to get
there was the free version, but then to get the training mode and the offline stuff was $9.99. I think.
Charging you for modes. Okay, yeah. I mean, that's going to be the standard.
This lists CPU battle mode, password match, score attack mode, blind time attack mode, 8 Pac-Man arrangements, and custom themes for the $14.99. What do you get for the $30?
Password match. I wonder if that's what they mean by the private lobby.
That still sounds like a lot of money for just that stuff.
That seems like a lot of money for just that.
Like
the bundle,
$10.
the $30 bundle contains the $15 mode unlock, and then it's just a bunch of themes.
Yeah. So
Like
you just buy the themes individually for however much each.
They're like $1.99, I think, each.
Does Pac-Man have the draw
it does save money
to command a price tag? Is it the modes, or is it Pac-Man? Are there other franchises that could potentially have the same price tag and the same modes? I want to 99 everything under the sun if we can.
Yeah, that's the thing. I think the game itself being a free-to-play game, like that's what the main draw is going to be. I really don't think there's going to be that many people that are going to get invested enough to buy into these other modes or even care, especially, if it is a pain in the butt to get a private lobby together. But we'll have to see.
If it's password match, that's easier. Like I just tell you all the password and then it goes, and that's what they've been doing more lately. But I mean, I will say, setting a price point is tough. I was talking to Jason about that with like games, and you never really know because like, if this were $9.99, I would have bought it right now. But $14.99, I'm like, nah, and like I'm probably not going to play this game very much. So it's like I think they might have been screwing themselves out of more money. Out of volume.
But I mean, if I just want to play online against randoms, it's free though, right?
It's free.
Yeah. I mean, that's
included with the subscription, but yeah.
Right. But like, I don't have to pay anything extra. I think that's fine, honestly.
Yeah.
But I do agree the $14.99 price point for what it's offering is too high. Maybe they'll lower it. They're just trying to catch a bunch of people early with that.
Maybe it'll go on sale.
Yeah.
Or they'll break it up more. Maybe, I don't know.
It comes with some custom themes, but it doesn't specify which.
It comes with what you said, some of the classic Namco arcade games, but I thought it also mentioned some pinball stuff as well.
Those are that comes with the big bundle, the $30.
Yeah, I wonder if they'll get some like pinball enthusiasts with that, like being able to see their classic tables recreated again.
Let's ask Don.
Yeah.
Pac-Man's tough.
Yeah, I want to check it out. I didn't get to it yet.
I don't know where all your Tetris skills are at, but Pac-Man's tough. Pac-Man's a hard game.
Well, and different versions of Pac-Man have different, like, they're like differently strict on preloading your moves. This one seems to be kind of in the middle, where you have to like kind of like click a little earlier than you think you need to. I was noticing that it felt like input lag, but that's just how some versions of Pac-Man, like Pac-Man 256 is way less than that. It's more forgiving. Whereas Championship Edition or some of the other ones, you had to preload a little more, like the older arcades. So it's tricky. But, yeah.
Well, I want more money, darn it. What else are we 99ing?
Yeah, I
mean,
names. It seems obvious, but maybe besides maybe just asking for what you want, is this just what Nintendo's going to keep doing? It's just like going this route for every single offering, because I can see some people kind of getting tired of that.
Well,
saying,
the one I saw on Twitter, and I apologize, I don't remember who had said this, but it was WarioWare 99, which seems pretty funny. Like, that seems like it would be pretty wild.
That or Rhythm
like Mario
Heaven.
Party 99, like
Rhythm Heaven 99. And
Yeah, that would be a little crazy.
nuts.
Dr. Mario potentially.
Oh yeah, that could.
We got the mobile game of that recently too.
Something like Centipede maybe.
Yeah, did certain projects waver between
Bomberman? Do we
the
have
mobile
Bomberman 99
offering and the
already?
99
No,
offering?
we do have the
It's
Bomberman had a Stadia game as well, but we haven't had a Bomberman.
That would be
Mario
chaotic.
Kart. Like Mario Kart 99 would be pretty dope. Like,
Yeah,
but
just-
it's like this Super Mario like SNES version, you
Yes.
know. So you'd have
Yeah.
like 99 actual
want
cars.
99
and
Yeah, that's the
sprites
thing.
on there.
That's what's
it'd be
tricky.
awesome.
You need
nuts.
something that basically works as essentially a score attack. To where
Right,
like you're
right.
doing your own thing without other people on your screen.
It could be based on times or something.
How about F-Zero 99 Blood? What
not
would
sure
you
how
throw
that
at
would
other
work.
What do you
Yeah.
throw at other players? Like what would be? Oh, the exploding cars. You just said a bunch of exploding cars.
Yeah.
The other players.
Oh,
don't,
yeah,
you don't
that
blow
would be
up,
great.
but there's always
You
the
have mines.
the cheap beat up cars that you got to dodge. You know, you can
Yeah.
like slam them into other people.
I wonder if you could do like a Zelda, you know, like the dungeon maker in Link's Awakening, like a bunch of weird puzzle levels like that, but like a Zelda, top-down Zelda 99 kind of thing.
Oh yeah, Bust a Move would be good. That's
Oh, that's like perfect. Yeah,
Yeah.
almost identical to Tetris. It's ready to go. Just in terms of like how you would negatively affect what would happen. You just fill that screen up.
Puyo Puyo 99 could happen too.
Yeah.
Or Puyo Puyo Tetris 99 would be sick.
Do you think this would get to a point of saturation to like anger people? If free game on a service that they're paying for?
I mean, they're doing like one a year right now, so
Yeah.
it doesn't seem like it.
It'll probably
Plus,
take
for $20 a
while.
year, like they just need more stuff on there.
Yeah.
Like the more stuff, the better.
I think the complaint, is more about what Ian said. They need more stuff. It's not that this will get tired. It's just they need better offerings on top of this.
Shout out to Friendcode, which had a recent episode about owning Nintendo and making decisions on behalf of Nintendo. If I was owning Nintendo, I would do 99 of these 99 games.
There you go. That was one of the comments. Like, we needed more brand manager in that
Yes.
episode. So here you go.
99
Hit it.
of them that's cute.
Again,
That's cute.
because it's just just come at me whenever the downloads like seriously tank. It's just like this one, no one wanted to check out like Smurfs 99. Like no, they're done. I'm like okay. The Lost Vikings
Lemmings
99
might be interesting,
Lemmings
huh?
99.
Oh,
man.
Lemmings would be cool.
I think you could actually have more than 99 Lemmings. I can't remember what the limit was originally.
Sure, but it's 99 players, so
Yeah.
Just
I
spitballing
don't know
here,
what that would
bud.
look like on your screen.
Picross
Just spitballing
99,
here, okay?
dude. Picross 99 could be wild. How would that work?
Minesweeper.
Yeah. You like add mines to people's drawings.
It's game on. For E3, the Entertainment Software Association, ESA, officially unveils plans for a reimagined all-virtual E3 2021 that will engage video game fans everywhere, with early commitments from Nintendo, Xbox, Capcom, Konami, Ubisoft, Take-Two Interactive, Warner Brothers, Games, Koch Media, and more to come. E3 2021 will take place June 12th through June 15th. Developers will be showcasing their latest news and games directly to fans around the world. The ESA will be working with media partners globally to help amplify and make this content available to everyone for free. E3 2021.
Early commitments
It's back,
is
baby.
really funny.
It's back.
Early commitments is really funny to me because it kind of implies to me that it's just like they shook down someone from Sony outside of like a Dave and Buster's and they were just like, hey, will you be at E3? And they're like, "Yeah, get away. Yeah, whatever, fine. And they're like,
Looks
early
like
commitment.
Sony's not on that list,
Sony
but
is
yeah.
Well,
for
right,
sure not on that
whoever.
list.
Yeah.
Um,
yeah.
It's just funny to me because they used when you reread that, Brandon, the word that stuck out at me is like they said they're unveiling plans and like you haven't actually. You've unveiled that you have plans and you've unveiled dates.
Yeah, right.
We have not a clue what these plans are other than these people are going to be there.
Stanley Pierre-Louis, ESA president, came out and said, for more than 2 decades, E3 has been the premier venue to showcase the best that the video game industry has to offer while reuniting the world through games. We're reuniting the world, Blood. We are evolving this year's E3 into a more inclusive event, but we will still look to excite fans with major reveals and insider opportunities that make it the indispensable center stage for video games. Are you pumped, Damiani?
Except last year it was dispensed.
I want it to be, but reading that report, so obviously they already dismissed the pay stuff. Like that story about it being paid is not happening.
Which we touched on last week,
But the other part of it, I think, might still be happening, is that E3 is getting the leftovers. That all these major publishers are planning to do. We already know Square Enix is doing a summer event. And sources already, like insiders already said, it's going to be their big Japanese event. 16 is going to be their stuff. Obviously, that stuff can show up at multiple events. Like we're used to that at E3.
Right.
Each press conference, like Sony gets this trailer, Microsoft gets this trailer. It could be that again, but I'm a little
trailer again.
I'm wary that
that's what I'm afraid of.
I'm wary that like the B tier stuff is going to be relegated to E3, and that especially Nintendo, especially Square Enix, maybe not maybe Microsoft goes a little bit more on this, but I could see a bunch of publishers just doing their own thing still for their biggest reveals and their biggest deep dives.
It is funny because like for Nintendo, they've been doing a direct for so long, and without a physical presence on the floor, like to an extent, like what's the difference to them on their end between just putting the direct up not during E3 or during E3? Like,
well, they've
they're
had a
usually
presence
one
on
of the
the
headliners.
floor. They haven't had a live press conference in a theater.
No, I'm saying there's no floor. So, like,
right.
to them, last year and this year, like, there's no difference.
Even Treehouse, they could easily do,
They could just do
Treehouse
they
did
from wherever.
Treehouse last year in some forms, too.
Right, but it's like, for them, I don't think the timing would really impact them much because they're one of the big boys and their announcements are going to get heard no matter what. So it's kind of funny, like, I guess, is it better for Microsoft and everyone to group them up or not group them up? Because, like, otherwise, it doesn't really matter to them, I think.
I mean, essentially all this is just getting everyone to agree to schedule their stuff in the same 4 days. You know, that's all it comes down to. E3 is, doing some marketing to push it out there, but otherwise it's just to keep things within a week rather than get spread out through the summer like last year. So that's why it's weird to me to think of, if people have like behind the scenes saying like, oh, we might have, some of our bigger reveals somewhere else, then that makes me think that they're essentially saying like, well, Keeley already signed us up for something.
Right.
Yeah. Pretty much.
He was smart to get the contracts inked February so that they wouldn't have any recourse.
I mean, the other thing is even the showing off controlled gameplay how they want is another thing. Or I think having everything in a short week is part of the thing of E3, but I think they also want these days of streams of demos happening. And if they're done at a house, there's less control of the environment for them. Even if it's like, oh, we rented a nice, great space in LA that you can actually use and stuff. It's got a great setup and everything, but something could still go wrong. So I think for some of the bigger games, people don't want to chance it. They're just like, no, we're doing it at our own offices. We have our own setup. We're just doing it here. We can give something to E3 for that week, but I don't expect these other things to be too far away from E3. They'll probably either be right before or right after, like Square Enix's thing and whatever everyone else is doing.
I think Keeley even said that he's trying to keep everything contained to June, right?
For his stuff too, yeah.
Yeah, the stuff that he's associated with.
Yeah, June.
I feel like we get June. Yeah. I'm just glad we got the confirmation that Nintendo's doing something with them because it probably means a direct is happening in June. Yeah. Because otherwise, who knows when the heck because Nintendo would do their next thing. They could have They have games through July. They through Skyward Sword HD, with hard dates. It's like they could have just waited till August. And hey, we don't have to say anything till August. So this is kind of a nice that someone's going to be able to pin them down and say, you're showing something this time.
Well, and Nintendo's on this list. Sony's not. If you're Sony, do you care? Do you bail? That month, not even do a state of play? Sony's not going to be 83. I'm not expecting that. But just in June, do you do anything?
If they have
I think they might.
Yeah.
Because they've been doing state of plays quarterly, so
every 3 months or so.
So I would expect May or June. There's probably going to be a state of play, whether they associate that with E3 or not.
The question is is it smarter to do it before E3 or after for them? Cause
before, I think.
You think so?
Yeah, kickoff because it's the summer too. It's a season. So, you know, summer 2021 starts right now.
You don't want to be forgotten, you know.
I mean, yeah,
the other big announcements.
I just think with those, you just don't forget that stuff. I think even like at the end of E3, like we don't. Whoever was that first press cons was never like, oh, they got it. You know, they were
right.
That's gonna set the tone. If it's a bad show, it's a bad show, and we're not gonna care.
Yeah.
And if it's crazy like
plus you get
God of War getting announced, doesn't matter if that's morning or night or what day, whatever.
You get fatigued. Like certainly last year we were getting fatigued with all the spread out different shows, and I think the consumer does too. And E3, like I was going to say, like E3 needs to do the demo thing for consumers, like to play demos, but Summer Games Fest kind of already did that. Like
yeah.
So that's got that unlocked too, you know. It's
well,
kind of fun.
Plus I think at this point Steam has seen the benefit of doing those on a regular basis anyway. So even if nobody pushed them to do it, they probably would still do some big anyway. Summer demo blowout.
For sure.
Yeah, I just don't see those big demos from some of those publishers happening until it returns back to in-person either. Like the appeal of E3, I think their biggest strength that they'll have to leverage is getting a bunch of consumers and press enthusiasts to come down and play the biggest games in a controlled environment, which even with the advancements we've seen, in the pandemic of how people are letting you play demos online, I just don't see Square Enix ever letting you play Final Fantasy 16 over Parsec. It's like that's never happening. You're gonna have to play it in person at their thing. So
I am curious how much of that might happen though. Like, will Ubisoft or anybody actually put some kind of demo out on like PlayStation Store or on Xbox Game Cloud or something that's not really downloaded? You're just playing the game over a stream.
Well, it's tricky, because you don't want to let too many people download it, because that's just asking to get data mined.
Right.
And like to combat that, you have to spend a bunch of resources to make your vertical slice like completely independent of everything else, and it's just like too much work.
Yeah, which is why I think, because that announcement also said they're returning in 2022 to in-person E3. I think that's the bigger news, is that they have intentions to try and do another in-person E3, because there were questions lingering about how are they doing after the fallout before COVID with the leaks. How have they been doing with like no E3 last year? How are they doing with only an online version this year? And like they're not going to be getting as much money. Is the ASA going to be able to handle doing this anymore? I think those would be the questions going forward, is that they could say another E3 is happening next year, but will they actually make it to next year, and will something else potentially replace it?
I'll say that I miss it. I miss conventions now. Like it's been it'll have been 2 years,
Yay.
I was definitely like I always enjoyed them, but I was like fine not going to the odd GDC or PAX or whatever sometimes. But now I'm like, yeah, man, I'm ready, I'm ready to go back.
Yeah, I just hope that E3 figures out its identity crisis, because the whole thing about the show floor being both a business event and a public event, it clearly has not been working. And so how do they approach that? How do they take this time off to really rethink what they've been doing? And can they make that something that feels viable for everybody in the future? Because that's why Sony's out. Sony's just like, pick a side, because doing both it's not helping us. So we're just going to do our own thing.
Yeah.
Blood, search your gut down your feelings. What do you think they're they're really working on that right now? Do you think they're solving that problem?
I've seen things that they are rethinking some things, but I don't know to what level.
Right.
Like, are they just going to make it less of a headache for press, but then do the same thing, or are they going to go backwards, or are they going to do like a separate press week and a public week? I don't know, man.
Yeah.
That's so weird.
It is weird, because it's like there are 5 PAXs or something, like
at
a
least
lot
4.
of PAXs.
There's acoustic PAX, which I think is like the 4.5 or the 5th.
Right. Unplugged one over.
But see, PAX is always designed to be public.
That's my point. Yeah. That's my point. Is like there are numerous events designed to be public.
Yeah.
And E3, you know, has been vacillating over the history of its existence, and it's just like, what are you trying to, what do you want?
It's because they have 2 other events, but I mean how important they are now. Tokyo Game Show and Gamescom do walk that line of doing the public.
Gamescom does it great.
Yeah.
I think
It's
really
just
do.
It's just like now people argue, you know, what's the relevance of TGS anymore on a global scale? Is it really even that relevant? So like, should you even be looking at that show for? But and you know, Gamescom, as you said, I think it's run very well. From the one time I went to it, and just hearing all the stories in the years since, it seems like one of the best run.
It's probably the best show, yeah.
And it's like, ESA, what are you doing? If you really want to walk this fine line, just simply emulate Gamescom. But I just don't have that.
Gamescom is a convention center the size of like 4 E3s though, so it makes that a lot easier.
I mean,
but still, like, just do the press day or 2,
Yeah.
and then do the public days. Like, it doesn't even seem like that hard. And like, Gamescom is awesome because when we were there, we would get most of our work done the first day, and then we could actually just enjoy things the next couple of days. I mean, we were still working, but you know, it was a little less crazy.
Yeah.
But yeah,
it's just every time an ESA leak happens about we're gonna do an influencer thing, like that disaster from last year that got leaked, it's nothing that has come out has really inspired confidence. Even before this, they were mulling over the paywall, not for demos, which I thought was like, oh, okay, I can see it.
Right.
No, wait, it's for watching the press conferences.
Yeah,
I was
man,
like, you're
PayPal.
gonna pay to watch ads? I was like,
Pay-per-view.
oh,
It's like UFC, man.
I was
This is
like,
the UFC of video
I was like, I
games,
don't
Damiani.
think I
Damiani,
don't
I
think
think-
I trust that.
I think consumer confidence is low in the ESA, but at the same time, I don't think it's like a make or break level in 2021 in terms of getting people hyped for 2022, because they can just write it off. I mean, it's not this easy, but they can just say like, it was a weird year, you know, it was a weird E3. Like, I have zero expectations for some weird digital E3. I'll just be like, okay, I'm just gonna hang on for cool announcements, but I don't like need this to be anything. Whereas like, if they're planning on getting us back all together, then it's like, okay, then that's everything Blood is talking about.
Jones,
it's like, are you gonna learn any of these lessons? Are you really gonna apply yourself to make it an interesting show for everybody?
That's my worry, because 2022, like, post 2020 and 2021, like, just the shit fest of these 2 years, like, a C- is going to feel like an A+. You know?
Yeah,
like,
hopefully. I mean, I'm sure they're hoping.
Being out there and doing something is going to be amazing. Like, it's going to be like hot girl summer forever. And like, I worry that the ESA will not learn the lessons. That it's like, no, dudes, like, you were screwing this up for a few years before the pandemic too. Like, yeah, you got to address the problems, because 2023, 2024 is just going to go back to what it was.
Well, another thing, bringing up influencers and stuff, I mean, that definitely changes the landscape too, in terms of like what, you know, in terms of, you know, press and coverage and all that come down to. And in a way, like, if they could focus in on press and influencers more and not worry so much about the public, like, imagine if rather than having that tiny Twitch booth, they had like a huge section of the show floor that, you know, you could essentially, you know, just go to a station as a streamer, and, you know, companies would just, you know, essentially load up demos at your station, and you would stream from E3 all day.
That's
cool.
cool.
But, you know, Twitch and E3 would have to coordinate something like that.
It'd only be too nice, wouldn't it?
Yeah, because paying for internet at E3 is like $30,000.
Right.
Yeah, as long as they're fronting the bill.
But I remember, Jones, they had you log in at that Lego game.
That was bizarre. I thought it was like on a
Yeah.
stage or something, and they just like took me into this back corner, and they were like, "All right, go nuts!" And they like turned the camera on. I was like, "Oh, hi everyone! I think I guess I'm streaming from my channel. Like, what's going on?" They were like, "Where are you?" I'm like, "I don't know." They took me to some dark room,
Yeah.
and I got to play. That was
Where
Villains.
Are you streaming, Jones?
Those DC
Not
Villains.
Twitch.
Yeah, that was fun.
Crazy.
Another great Lego game. I never had the time to fully play.
You do say though that like just being out there and the people will just receive it because like they're starving for some more normalcy from this. I'm just curious about the different dynamics going on right now in terms of I obviously don't know anything, but Keeley didn't seem intent on playing ball with E3 again. It seems like Keeley felt a little bit burnt
Sure.
by the ESA, but like the political dynamics of that, I'm not sure how those iron out in terms of come next year would someone like Keighley try and, because hey, conventions are back on the menu, does Keighley try and do a convention? And does that, if he has all the clout, will publishers rally behind Keighley?
Yeah.
And would that make, did the ESA take too long? I don't know. I don't take it for granted that the ESA can just wait till next year and just run E3 and nothing's going to happen no matter what, because everyone's, on the sideline right now. We'll be back next year. What if someone comes out and steals your thunder? We're doing our own event and we got Microsoft, Sony, and Nintendo on board. Good luck with that, ESA. Sony doesn't ever want to work with you, I guess. So if you don't make up your mind.
I think about PSX and how successful and filled in. There were a lot of attendees. I definitely imagine that Keighley, if he didn't do one in the summer, could very easily do a Game Awards con in December too. Fill in the gap of PSX and do that kind of quarter. Either way.
Yeah. There are so many angles that could be played here. I don't need to get into them. I mean, there's a lot of opportunity there, I think, to do something bigger than E3 ever was, especially if you have a vision for it. And it does seem like there's this mythical goldmine of, if we could just tap into that consumers without angering journalists, influencers, and media and industry people with the way we run it, if we could just have this well-run thing that everyone's happy, man, it's explosive. It's like how big Comic-Con got. It's how we're talking about Gamescom. It's basically
Gamescom is hundreds of thousands of people. Yeah,
you want the efficiency of Gamescom, but the world reach of a San Diego Comic-Con. If you can get both those together, it's wow. And I think someone might figure out how to get to that before E3. I mean, E3 used to be that, but in the last few years, it's definitely been struggling to maintain that reputation.
I think Keighley can adjust pretty fast. I imagine there's a lot of executives out there that don't even know what the name of Keighley's show is that they're going to be on. They're just we're doing Keighley next year, and it's he's doing a summer game fest. I don't care. What are we doing with Keighley? Just we're this thing. They're just not. Why care? It's if these events are coming up, they're going to start talking to Keighley about whatever he's doing, and then if he decides I'll come back on E3, we'll call it All Access. I'll work with YouTube. I'll work with Defy or Viacom or whatever. He's just always going to bounce around to where he can get the most exposure.
Keighley does what the ESA has not shown that they do, at least not as well. And Keighley obviously is not perfect, but he learns. He learns and adapts. From his mistakes.
Sure.
And from the first Game Awards was a little cheesy, and the next one was better, and the next one was better in my opinion. And the ESA just kind of keeps they take for granted their position in the whole industry.
Glad I cut this podcast. I'm gonna take that Keighley's not perfect right out. Yoink. See ya. What's Bethesda gonna do? Is there going to be a Bethesda chunk in the Xbox press conference? Because no Bethesda press conference anymore, right?
Yes,
that's over.
That's all
We've seen the last one.
Their conference is going to be 2.5 hours.
But
do you 3-hour Microsoft marathon.
Do you have the Bethesda montage and then you bring the Bethesda guys out, or do you just you sprinkle it out? We don't want you thinking Bethesda anymore. We want you thinking Xbox. Or do they
I
have
actually think it will be to their
what?
advantage to spread it out, because then it be a little less predictable. You could surprise people easier that way. It's interesting because Bethesda in a lot of ways is operating still independently at this point, in terms of how they kind of run their business and stuff. But I'm sure that they will probably be relieved to just collaborate on a press conference rather than try to fill out their own. I imagine they'll still do QuakeCon and stuff though, because they absorbed that from id. But I think E3 they'll be in the boat with Microsoft.
MLB The Show is on Game Pass. This kind of happened right when the last week's podcast was done. This was something that everyone was talking about on Friday, and that's when we published the podcast. Wasn't something that we were talking about on Thursday evening last week. I feel bad that we missed it. I do want to get to it because it is hilarious. The MLB The Show 21 is coming to Xbox Game Pass on day 1. Will be available on April 20th for Xbox Series X and S and Xbox One, as well as on Android phones and tablets via Xbox Cloud Gaming, the beta for Ultimate members. Both MLB The Show 21 Xbox One and Xbox Series X and S standard editions will be included with the Xbox Game Pass, so members will be able to play the best version of the game regardless of which console they're on. And with cross-platform play and progress, you can play against others online and earn and use content across the platform and generation you choose. I've noticed, and I respect and enjoy, a sort of gentle kindness from Phil Spencer. Some attempt at kind of a Mr. Rogers kind of vibe where he's just like, hey, there's no war going on. There's no console war. We're all just hanging out. He tweets out when Sony has a big launch and Nintendo, hey, congrats, everybody. And he's just warm friend Spencer. This is shots fired. Not just let's have MLB The Show. How fantastic. We get to have it on Xbox consoles. It is on Game Pass right now. That's crazy.
Friendship is over.
That's all.
It's still friendly, but still, it's like...
That MLB negotiator, man, they just twist the knife on Sony. But it's interesting because I'm sure in some indirect way, Sony's just gonna make a bunch of money off of Game Pass.
Sure. No. I mean, this is not turning the tide. It's just a behavior. It's just an attitude. It's just it's not scandalous. I wish it was, but it is a sign of the times. It's very interesting that all these Sony exclusives were going to PC, and then now here's this thing that we always just traditionally knew, coming out, and a lot of people are going to enjoy it. It's probably going to run really well.
What's interesting about the MLB thing, right, is that it's not like EA with Madden. It's other people could make an MLB game, as far as I know. It's just Sony's done it better, so MLB is like, hey, put this on other things because everyone's buying this and not the other games that we're licensing. So
it is interesting. I mean, it's the most business savvy thing to do. It's like, hey, Sony made this game and they're still getting money from it, but at the same time, we're using this to further Game Pass. This is great. I think it's the best way to take that stance is this is for the good of everybody. Everyone wins from this situation. Maybe Sony doesn't get all the money, so they are a slight loser in that situation. But who's to say, maybe the game gets more exposure. Maybe more people are interested in it. And maybe it just means more revenue in general. So, I don't know. I think that's the smart thing. I think Phil Spencer and the team over there see that. It's this is how we approach this, because if everyone's doing well, we all share in the profits here. This is a very good thing, Right. But it's I think they're just waiting for that moment. The opportunity was presented, hey, maybe you guys can have it exclusively. Some other studio that we think can make this game, and you own them, and how would you like to have MLB? They would snatch on that in a heartbeat. They'd be like, yeah, absolutely, come on over. Now it is exclusive to Game Pass. I think they want to say that phrase the most. Exclusive on Game Pass.
So the weird thing is that MLB The Show is a Sony game. They made it.
Sony San Diego makes it. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, you're totally right. I mean, everything's a loss leader. We hear things about them selling consoles at a loss, right? And it's just so they could sell software and stuff. And games like this are the more players, the more DLC and stuff they're selling. So, yeah, it's just a subscription thing. It's we just want as many people as possible.
Maybe this will lead to future reviews of this game doing lots of views in the viewership count.
Okay, let's not get into our personal stars as professional reviewers. Okay, I'm damn proud of each and every one of those MLB The Show reviews. I don't care about viewership. What is this? A contest?
Worse,
you want to? If I don't get reviews, if I don't get views on my review, am I supposed to feel bad? Damiani, is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
No,
should I not be proud of my work?
Reviews, but more views wouldn't hurt. So this leads to more views down the road, man. Right. It's a win for everybody.
What do you say to the committed Xbox consumer that it's just hey, I don't even like baseball, but I just got to stick it to Sony. It feels good. They don't even know the rules of baseball. They're just queuing it out.
But that's the thing, though.
These Halo fans that are
MLB The Show in a way is a perfect game to put on Game Pass because you might play the more casual mode with your friends, just do a home run contest or something, not be into all the keeping up with the season and everything else, but you don't want to pay $60 or $70 for that, right?
Yeah.
But it's on Game Pass. Yeah, I'll play that with you. You know, I'll do that for a night or two. You know, if you want to play baseball with me, sure. Like, it makes a heck of a lot of sense to be on Game Pass.
It basically allows them to go free to play without going free to play. Like,
what I am curious about, and I don't know, maybe there's some like contractual restrictions and stuff, but like on a competitive like system level, like how much insight does this give Sony on like the Xbox like back end, the development side of things? You know,
it's a
like
spy.
Sony
like
is sitting
the
there
Dark
like
Knight.
developing a game for Xbox.
The Trojan horse, you know.
Are they learning like
is. Look at the
secrets on how that
books.
system works?
Oh, you're right, Blood.
Oh man, Blood. This is why you are the real CEO of
Baseball
Nintendo,
fans,
Bloodworth.
you're being played.
You're being used.
Nobody gets to play it this year. No one's gonna know those secret numbers. And Sony's bringing some guns. I wouldn't necessarily call them the big guns, but Oddworld Soulstorm, which is also a seasonal thing. This game is out now. Zombie Army 4 and Days Gone are the PS Plus games this month. That's a pretty good month on PS Plus.
Hey, I should add those to my whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Days Gone. Apparently
Days Gone is already on
about
the
that performance.
collection for PS5, I think, right?
I believe so.
I do believe so.
But
They touted
PS4
it,
owners can
yeah.
get it now too. That's good.
Very
And
generous.
Zombie Army 4, as we spoke of and tested on our group stream, and it's a solid 7. We swam in it. Those waters were warm. And we'll get to the performance of Oddworld Soulstorm later on in this podcast. How well that's doing, at least on a review front.
Okay.
Ebo Show said on
Curious.
Patreon, Xbox Game Studios hasn't published a brand new game, not counting ports, since Tell Me Why in August of last year. Since 2018, we've been talking about Xbox acquisitions, and now we're in 2021. Do you think that we've seen these acquisitions pay off? I mean, no.
No,
They're
not
not.
yet.
Too early.
Yeah.
People are happy about Xbox, but
Well,
they're not
the
making
Bethesda
that mint.
stuff on Game Pass is a pretty good payoff.
Yeah.
But
That's
that was
a
also
lot
a
of
big
good
payday.
games.
I don't know if they necessarily made all those bills back, but
But also
We'll see.
COVID slowed everything down too. I'm sure. Like, we would have seen more games from these studios, I think. By
Yeah.
now, maybe.
we would
One
have
or
gone to
two at least.
E3.
We would have seen Halo, probably.
Yeah.
Who's to say? And now, a word from our sponsors. When it comes to paying off debt, it can often feel like an uphill battle. High interest rates resulting in minimum monthly payments keeps you in an endless cycle of debt. Upstart can help you get ahead. Are you carrying a credit card balance month after month? You are not the only one. High interest rates make it hard to pay off your debt, but Upstart can help. Join the thousands of happy borrowers who made that final payment. Do you dread looking at your credit card statement every month? We don't blame you. Upstart can lift that weight off your shoulders so that you can finally feel the relief of being free of credit card debt. Upstart is the fast and easy way to pay off your debt with a personal loan all online. Whether it's paying off credit cards, consolidating high interest debt, or funding personal expenses, over 500,000 people have used Upstart to get a simple fixed monthly payment. Unlike other lenders, Upstart looks at more than just your credit score, like your income and employment history. This means they can offer smarter rates with trusted partners. With a 5-minute online rate check, you can see how your rate upfront for loans between $1,000 to $50,000. You can receive funds as fast as one business day after accepting your loan. Find out how Upstart can lower your monthly payments today when you go to upstart.com/easyallies. That's upstart.com/easyallies. Don't forget to use our URL to let them know that we sent you, and that would feel lovely if we can help you financially. In 2020 or 2021, loan amounts will be determined based on your credit, income, and certain other information provided in your loan application. Some very serious talk here in this loan application ad that I'm very happy that I think I did mostly well, especially that last line. It's like, oh man, it's one of those really serious lines I need to say. Whew, didn't mess it up.
A lot of numbers. You did great. Yeah.
Wah. Go to upstart.com/easyallies. We all shop online, and we've all seen that promo code field taunt us at checkout. Talk about saving cash. But thanks to Honey, manually searching for coupon codes is a thing of the past. Honey is a free shopping tool that scours the internet for promo codes and applies the best one it finds in your cart. And I want to emphasize on that scour part because it's fun to watch it work. It's fun to just go like,
Yeah.
all right, go Honey, go. And it's like, scour. Honey supports over 30,000 stores online. They range from sites that have tech and gaming products to popular fashion brands, even food delivery. Here's how it works. Imagine you're shopping on one of your favorite sites. When you check out, the Honey button drops down, and all you have to do is click Apply Coupons. Wait a few seconds as Honey searches for coupons it can find for that site. If Honey finds a working coupon, you'll watch the prices drop. And not only have I used honey before, not only have other allies used honey, Amanda was like, oh yeah. Amanda was like, it's no big deal to Amanda. She was like, yeah. You mean honey? She's like, oh, boom, it's on my browser right now. And I was like, all right. Just learning about this stuff.
I signed up for it live during a previous ad read on this very podcast.
Because you were stealing honey from friends.
I was using Sophia's.
Glorious
Yeah.
honey.
I've been using it since, and it's great.
Honey has found over 17 million members, over $2 billion in savings. If you don't already have Honey, you could be straight up missing out on free savings, and it's literally free, installs in a few seconds. This is true. And by getting it, you'll be doing yourself a solid and supporting this podcast. Get Honey for free at
How do they
Join
make
Honey.
money? How do they make money? I actually don't know.
You're asking the tough questions here.
I don't know.
I would never recommend something I don't use. Get Honey for free at joinhoney.com/allies. That's joinhoney.com/allies. When you use the bathroom, you always close the door behind you, right? Are we going to talk about it? Are we going to talk about bidets? We're not. You don't want random passerby looking in on you, so why would you let the people look in when you go online? Using the internet without ExpressVPN is like going to the bathroom and not closing the door. Do you have a visual? Okay.
I got so confused because I'm like looking at the Airtable and I'm like, wait, Tushy's not this week.
Do you have a visual?
What's going on?
Okay. Ian checking up
Bidets are
on
great.
me. That's the thing.
Bidets are great, and so is ExpressVPN.
During my ad reads, I'm unhinged. So Ian's got to make sure.
We are kind of loose, yeah.
We've had ad breaks that I've had to edit down on podcasts where I started talking about crazy stuff.
Really?
Ian's like, we're not even. Not when
Leave
you're
it all
around,
in,
we
baby.
haven't, because you always keep me focused on ExpressVPN.
That's not true. I make everything longer.
Did you know that your internet service provider like Comcast or Verizon knows every single website you visit? And what's worse, they can sell this information to ad companies and tech giants who will use your data to target you. ExpressVPN puts a stop to this. It creates a secure encrypted tunnel between your device and the internet so that your online activity can't be seen by anyone. I use ExpressVPN. It works on everything. Laptops, phones, laptops, even routers. So everyone who shares your Wi-Fi can still be protected even though they don't have ExpressVPN. Huber, bravely touted it because he used it to check out Super Mario Brothers, which we did for our spoiler mode. We've explicitly used it to create solid Easy Allies content.
There's more to that story. He slacked me in a panic. He was like, my DVD won't get here until Wednesday. I'm gonna be late for the thing. I can't watch it. Should I not be on it or whatever? And I was like, it's probably fine just by your memory or whatever, but I don't know. Yeah, maybe it's somewhere online, And then he just, like, a little while went by, and then he just was in all caps. He was like, wait, ExpressVPN. And I was like, yeah, okay, yeah, great idea. And then he watched it.
The best part is using ExpressVPN is as easy as closing the bathroom door. You just fire up the app, click one button, and you're protected. ExpressVPN is the world's #1 rated VPN by CNET, Wired, The Verge, and countless others. So if you're like us, you believe your online activity is your business, secure yourself by visiting expressvpn.com/allies today. Use this exclusive link, expressvpn.com/allies, and you can get an extra 3 months free. That's expressvpn.com/allies. And if you are a patron of Easy Allies, thank you. Damiani, game development's tough, right? It's hard.
I imagine
It's hard
one of the
thinking of
toughest
what
things.
game you want to do, deciding you actually want to spend money on that. We make fun of new announcements that don't look like they're going to be fun games. It's going to be terrifying. I'm going to spend millions, billions of dollars on games to launch something. What if you finally got around to making the game, you launched it, and somebody thought, wait a minute, Michael Damiani didn't make this game. Hideo Kojima made this game. You're like, wait, no, I'm Michael Damiani. And,
I'd probably
and literally
be
the world
honored
was
at
like,
that
ha
point.
Damiani
ha.
wishes.
I'd be like, whoa, yes.
I know you. You're Hideo Kojima.
I might feel like people had abandoned me.
Stop it now.
Heyo.
That was our
Somebody knows
coverage
the news.
of this game. Yes, even the developers of this game did not think that this week in the Easy Allies podcast we'd be talking about Abandoned, coming exclusively to PS5 in the Q4 2021. This story goes a lot of different places. I just want to put out now that you need to get to that gameplay trailer really quick. This trailer is literally just some VO and some footage of forests that I guess are in game. I don't know. You could have easily just taken a digital camera out to the forest and supposedly that's a game
really
trailer.
Good if it's rendered.
At the end there, it's funny. They actually sell it with kind of a gamey rendered hand holding a gun. Like at the very end, you see this hand, and it's like, oh, okay. When I look at the tree, I think it's real. When I look at that hand, now it's a video game. Okay, all of it's coming together. The problem is, it's a horror game coming exclusively to Sony, to the PlayStation, to the PS5, potentially at the end of this year. This came out from Blue Box Game Studios, and everybody thought this has got to be Kojima. This feels like Kojima. There's something about this. There's maybe a secret underneath that. And Hassan Kamaran, the game director of Blue Box Game Studios, had to come out and say specifically. And if you go to blueboxgamestudios.com/Hideo Kojima rumors.html, it reads our response to the Hideo Kojima rumors. We received several emails regarding the Hideo Kojima rumor. I have no association with Hideo Kojima, nor do we claim to have any association, nor is it our intention to claim such a statement. We are a small group of game developers working on a passionate title we wanted to work on for a long time. We have been assisting other studios in the past with their projects, and we wanted to work on our very first big project. While it is true that we've been working on small projects in the past, we certainly didn't use that for marketing purposes. We hope that this has been clarified, and we hope to see you all in our very first gameplay reveal of Abandoned. I like that was one of the potential Easter eggs, is that they've worked on other small things. Wait a minute, that's a classic Kojima move. Has Kojima gone too far? Is this the studio that cried Kojima?
Well, it's just been a weird Kojima rumor week because Phil Spencer has like the statue on his shelf.
Oh,
where he also has a Switch on his shelf. Mm-hmm. So it's just like,
yeah.
I like
statue of what?
The Kojima, the Ludens guy.
Oh, just actually Kojima.
Yeah.
Yeah. It could be a thing. He's been known to hide things before, but I don't think that it necessarily means anything. He's got a bunch of family photos and stuff up there too, and a big pile of controllers. I think it's a bit of a stretch. Is coming. Yeah.
Just like think about the power of Kojima and specifically PT. That to this day, it's bent our reality. Like everyone suspects everything now of being Silent Hill or Kojima all the time. Everything, and that's awesome. Like to as a piece of like performance art, PT is a wild success.
Well, it wasn't the only time either, because Phantom Pain, he did it too.
Yeah.
The
bandages or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, Kojima has a long history of this kind of thing, and it's just also like I don't think it's bad for anyone involved, right? Like Blue Box?
Yeah.
Yes.
They like this is great for them. Like it's got way more people talking about it and have heard of it.
Yeah, I missed that blog post for sure.
Yeah, I'm sure some people are like pissy about it, but like whatever. Man. And like it just furthers Kojima's like, weird mythos. So I don't know, I see this as being a good thing for everyone.
Yeah, if I were them, even if there is nothing between it, I would be doing everything to just like, can we throw in like one Kojima Easter egg into our game with your blessing, right? Kojima?
Well,
like, just even like a hidden voice sample somewhere. Just something in there just to like
I do worry that this will influence them in a way where now they feel they have to like change the game to be like to have a bunch of hidden mysteries in it, and that wasn't part of their initial plan or something. Even though it seems like the kind of game that would.
Well, they did make it sound like there was more to be unveiled, or I forget exactly, but yeah,
the gameplay is interesting. They're taking a very cinematic, realistic approach, and so obviously cinematic is a quality that Kojima embodies. And
are they Canadian? I couldn't place the exact dialect of the VO because they said like anything instead of anything, which I think is a Canadian thing. Do we know where they're from?
It's Blue Box Canadian. That's a good question. Is it illegal for them to just kind of wink at this? If you're Blue Box Games, just be like,
"Oh, just lying about it." No, I don't.
No, I'm sorry. No, lying. Who said the lying? What are you talking about? Whoa, some really strong language coming from Daniel Bloodworth right now. I'm talking about lying. People. I'm talking about not talking. I'm talking about, well, hey, We're early in our advertising thing, we'll say, because people were just talking. They didn't say anything. These are other people spreading rumors. Why release a statement, right, Damiani? This is your dream come true, And then after the fact, because I've been thinking about those like Mega Man rumors. Isn't there some Mega Man Easter egg we still don't know? Like there's something in a game where they were like, people haven't found that one Easter egg, and everyone's like, what? I mean, put 500 hours in this game. Where is it?
The Netherlands. They're from the Netherlands.
You haven't found it yet. Where's that Easter egg?
Memories, Jones. Okay.
Yeah, Damiani tried his ass off.
All right, so first of all, I had a game that I was honored by being mistaken, my game being mistaken for a Kojima game, but now I'm back in the pits because I'm having horrible memories here. All right.
I just think, you roll with it. This seems like something they were like, oh no, this is unfortunate that this has happened, but like this is, you've been.
You put on the box marketing a game mistakenly.
Yes, you got a roadmap now.
The game's so weird. They thought Kojima.
Well, what do you do if you're Kojima? Do you recognize and like, I wish these wonderful people good luck with your development, or do you?
He could.
If you're Kojima's PR, you like just forget, just let it happen.
The chill thing to do would be Kojima to be like, to reach out and be like, hey, if you we could work together if you want, like.
Yeah, I could.
But
totally
I mean,
Jeff Keighley, I can get him in your game. I can get.
They're a package deal.
I can get Conan O'Brien in your game. I got a lot of weird people.
You have to do all of them. Living as we do in a post-reality reality, it's really hard to predict what things like this are gonna piss people off or be good, like for your company, right? Like people could just suddenly get mad at you for not having worked with Kojima. And it's like, you didn't try to do that at all, and it just happens, So
that's why
they have to tread lightly, I think.
One bit of sympathy I always try to have, Ian, is like when we were talking about the E3 thing. We're like, oh, remember that press release that went out, or that packet that people got? It's like E3 didn't officially say that. That leaked. Can you imagine if ideas that we wanted to do but didn't leaked? Can you imagine some of the dumb stuff that like we were about to do, and then like at the last minute we're like, wait, no, it's a horrible idea,
like trash babies,
like people found out later,
like,
did you know?
Trash babies.
So I sympathize. You don't want, there's a reason you only tell a small group of people, like, we had this crazy idea, they're like, that's very stupid, they're like, then we're never doing that.
Man.
Great.
But then people find out about it.
I hope Kojima gets on stage with Keighley, and in his interview for his new horror game, when it's announced, it's like, we were originally going to call it Trash Babies.
Yeah.
But this group called Easy Allies took the name already. It was my dream name.
We have worked with Kojima.
We have.
Legitimately.
It's true. Mm-hmm.
We should sell the
more
name
than
to
once,
him.
I think.
Creatively.
Yeah. Literally, we have.
He has to use a space mine once.
Yeah.
He needed somewhere to go.
I've been on camera with him, I'm pretty sure.
He was abandoned himself, and I said, Kojima, come in from the cold. He was like, all right.
Come in
this room here? And I was like, please, on this couch. Now I'm feeling good, Damiani. That's nice. But we'll see. But Ian, you like horror games, right? Horror, right?
Sure.
Horror video games.
Yeah. Has this been confirmed to be a horror?
Oh yeah, dude.
Yeah.
It was like
Dude.
I watched the trailer, and it definitely goes.
We're getting cheeky with Abandoned, but just shout out to this game because I hope this stuff works out. Abandoned, and not remembering how he got there, Jason Longfield finds out that he was kidnapped and brought to this forest for a dark purpose. If he's out of breath after sprinting or is afraid, his firing accuracy will suffer. Mm-hmm. Unlike action shooter titles, firing weapons in Abandoned will be realistically slow. Abandoned requires you to hide and plan every shot before pulling the trigger. This would not be possible without the DualSense wireless controller. Players will feel each and every interaction during gunplay, such as being struck by a bullet. Pulling the trigger on a loaded or unloaded gun will feel different.
That's what I was waiting for with these haptics.
Yeah.
I love that kind of stuff.
So, good luck, Abandoned, and just I'm telling you, roll with it, man. Just that I don't know. I think their statement was made a little hastily. I think they could have had some mystery, built some mystery up there. It is horror after all.
I was surprised to see a gun at the end of the first trailer, because the VO talks mostly about like survival and this weird cult.
Right.
And so I was expecting it to be more of like a running away and hiding kind of a game, like Amnesia or something.
Drinking people's blood.
Yeah. But I guess it'll be a little more action-y, which will be cool too.
Also this week, Arma 3 is getting a massive DLC based on the Vietnam War called SOG Prairie Fire. It has a map that is 300 kilometers in size. It's like its own game. This is just not like you have to have Arma 3 in order to get the DLC, but and they have a lot of involvement from the community, so this is a pretty group of people putting that together. Rachel Valkyrie Hofstetter, 2020's trending gamer at the Game Awards. is now part owner of 100 Thieves. She bought it with courage. And, but yeah, co-owner, a female gamer, popular YouTube streamer, co-owns one of the bigger esports companies. So that feels good.
Very cool.
Yeah. Nice power move. Ryan Cohen, co-founder of Chewy. I don't know if y'all are familiar with Chewy.
The pet Chewy store?
The pet
Oh, yeah.
thing?
Of course.
Yeah.
Will become
Absolutely.
the chairman of GameStop in June.
Uh-oh.
What would you rather do? Be the co-founder of Chewy or the chairman of GameStop?
Right.
Co-founder of
doesn't
Chewy,
seem like a
maybe.
step
The
up.
former, yeah.
I know,
Yeah,
that's
it doesn't
rhetorical, but yeah.
Wasn't Reggie doing something with them too?
Yeah, but
gone.
he's leaving the
He's
board.
bailing.
For some
Yeah.
reason, I get an impression of like the beginning of Jedi Fallen Order. You know, like junkers. You know, like getting a ship that's just stranded at sea, and you bring it into a much bigger ship, and you just like literally tear the parts out. I just imagine like all these guys with like grease and overalls, crazy sci-fi names, couple alien races, all just descending on GameStop and just ripping
We
it apart.
know
Honestly-
we can make money here.
Yeah, they want to
Just
get
gotta
to that
turn
cryo
the ship
engine,
around.
that
Or we have
experimental
a documentary called The Last GameStop someday.
teleportation.
I honestly don't know how you save GameStop. I just don't know.
Damiani, thelastgamestop.com right now. Can you go buy that?
Oh,
Metroid Prime has a 2D fan remake that is 100% going to get shut down. Why are they? Of all things, it's one thing to make a fan game, but like Metroid is like infamously, what is it with Metroid that like people just gotta make their own
fans,
games?
man,
They're just gonna get destroyed.
They want
because
more
Nintendo
love.
doesn't put out
Yeah,
real ones
Nintendo doesn't do
ever.
enough
Like,
Metroid stuff.
Ugh.
I do think in
Nintendo's
this
crazy.
situation, real quick, specifically, it's called Prime 2D, so it's not even, doesn't have Metroid intel, but it does completely look like Samus and everything. I think this is something that actually they could change the asset work a little bit, and it could be an original game. I do think it is. There's enough here that it could be something else and still be equally impressive, because that demo was, the video I watched of it was pretty cool to look at. Like,
Oh,
I've heard it was really good.
I think once you're in the crosshairs, it's over. I don't know. We'll see. Update us, please, Damiani. I'm curious how that's going to work out for them, because that looks fascinating. And of course, when you transfer something like that to a different style of game, I'm way down. Edge of Eternity is finally releasing on PC on June 8th. Consoles in the fall. Bled, you wanted to bring this to people's attention because this is one of those games you can kind of think like, isn't that out?
It's just one of those things that's been on the periphery for years.
I saw the font. I saw the logo. It was
yeah.
like, yeah, I thought that was the thing.
Yeah, they're they're a French developer, but making a JRPG. But Yasunori Mitsuda's worked on some of the soundtrack. They've had it in early access for years now, and yeah, basically they're adding on the last 20 hours of the game and putting it out officially. And they've had a lot of traction. I think it might have even Kickstarter originally, and then coming to consoles, I think later this year as well.
Just want to enjoy this moment before I say the next sentence. A speedboat chase in Hong Kong ended in the seizure of hundreds of smuggled NVIDIA cards.
that's where they all went.
I want to
Again?
point out, I mean, they're just getting started. You think that was it?
Right.
This is just the first film in the series. It's actually the sequel, because last week it probably was not at all the same people, but I like to think that this is the same people that took down that cheating ring and all those fancy cars, like all those. There's this Fast and the Furious live action reality cops Chinese police show that's coming into focus here
Yeah.
that I think somebody's going to take advantage of. It might as well be us, but I don't know if that's
We've
something
got 2 episodes already
we can
here.
invest
Like,
in.
This is
Man,
fantastic.
I'm on the edge of my seat. I can't. Hong Kong. I can't wait to see what you do next. Resident Evil Village will have another showcase on April 15th. Yes. Streets of Rage 4 is getting a DLC chapter called Mr. X Nightmare. New character, new modes, new cool stuff. Yay. Streets of Rage. Do we know Streets of Rage 4 was getting DLC? All the times that Huber was talking about it, did he know this for certain?
Huber probably
Or was
did.
this-
I wouldn't say we knew something was cooking.
There's a lot in that game. They kind of threw the
Yeah.
kitchen sink at it, so that's cool that they got more stuff. A Streets of Rage
Is that
thing
one of
called
the
Mr.
weapons
X
you
is
can
like
pick up?
yep. Huber. There's just this Huber. Deathloop has been delayed to September 14th. Even bigger news
No
than that.
surprise.
I'm just gonna kind of breeze right past that and get straight to 4 new Smurf adaptations are coming from Microids and Imps, which is apparently the Smurfs World license holder. 4.
Yeah, on top of the one that's already coming out this year. So that's
Now,
the 5th.
I'm
Yeah.
sure
Games
that's
or
like one of
movies?
those is mobile, one of those is on Stadia, one of the, there's going to be some weird kind of split up between those things. But I like to think of it kind of like an Avatar situation where these are like 4 AAA Smurf video game experiences that they are writing the lore for and dragging
But
them out.
they said, because the one that's already been announced is sounds like it's a 3D platformer.
Yes.
But they said that the others are going to be different genres. So
Holy cow! Smurf
probably going to
Battle
get a
Royale.
kart racer.
We have to have
Smurfs video game universe here.
There's always going to be a kart racer, right?
Smurf
And then
Battle
like a match
Royale.
3 game.
Yeah. Smurf 99. You're the one is Gargamel.
Oh,
and there's
there we go.
99 Smurfs trying to kill him. And we got updates on Path of Exile 2 and Ultimatum. Just a whole laundry list, a huge big list of cool updates to both those games. But that happened in case those were on your radar and you want to check those out.
Yeah, Ben's psyched.
Ben is psyched.
Kristen is psyched.
Kristen is psyched. It is time for Love and Respect.
Love and respect.
From Rahul Misal, my brother used to love Nintendo. He had an N64, his favorites were Ocarina of Time and Smash, but in recent years, he only ever plays COD. I tried showing him Breath of the Wild. He told me that there were too many armor options and the map was too big. Imagine my frustration. My question is, do you think that there's any hope for this type of COD-only player to get back into single-player experiences? If so, what games or new marketing do you think it would take? Love and respect, Rahul. Have you ever felt this way? Is there anybody that you really just get in this genre, please? And they just.
I mean, I've been trying to get Huber to watch Patriot for so long. We had to make a fundraising.
No,
you know what I just realized?
Tool to use.
Yeah.
This is from before the question, so sorry for the interruption, but I just realized, is the Diablo 2 alpha going out, like, was that a competitive move? Was that an attempt to like just squash like some of this Path of Exile news? Like,
Harsh.
That's the closest like 1-to-1 this game versus that game.
Yeah.
Man.
Huh.
Everyone's supposed to be talking about Path of Exile, and everyone's watching that
I
Diablo 2 alpha
I think
instead.
probably not. Like, both things would take so long to get moving, but maybe the timing, yeah, maybe.
Blizzard's giggling. I don't know if they slam dunked that, but yeah.
But anyways, yeah, like I could maybe think of like, okay, you could get like a COD player to like maybe get them to check out Splatoon or something. But if you're talking about going to not another multiplayer game, but a single player game, that's tricky. And especially if like the map's too big, like, okay, so you want a single player game that's a little, do you want a short game? Do you want a linear game? Like, what do you want?
Yeah, it doesn't specifically bring up why Breath of the Wild, if it's the Zelda franchise.
Mm-hmm.
You said you used to love Nintendo, so I don't know if it's like got to be a Nintendo specific thing.
Well, yeah, he said Zelda specifically, yeah.
Mentioned Smash,
I mean,
but what if there's like
the
fantasy
real answer
multiplayer
is
games?
play what you want to play, I guess.
Yeah.
But, you know, it's like people's attitudes change over their lives.
That's the problem with Fable Legends, man. We lost it, and it would have been such a wonderful gateway for so many competitive action players to then find fantasy, and then, you know, who knows from there? Zelda, anime, there's so many other places they can go. There's just not that many options.
You could try to get this guy into Valheim. Or not Valheim, or I meant to say Vermintide, but maybe Valheim too, but that's not on the Switch.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Ooh.
But Vermintide is a fantasy competitive game.
Holy cow. I was going to call this a lost cause, but that's actually not a terrible idea.
As a stepping stone.
Yeah, I'm still not sure how that translates to going to something that's more single
Right.
player.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, really, like,
Doom would be a good call.
Doom, yeah.
Yeah.
It's going to be the story that'll get the hooks in, right? Or like a gameplay thing.
Well, like
that's
from
unique.
Right,
Rahul's
well, that's what I'm
perspective,
saying, that,
what
like,
is his
Doom
brother
is, like-
missing? You know, like, what does he
Yeah,
feel?
Doom pushes you enough that I think that, you know, like, you know, it's more akin to like the skill level of a multiplayer gamer.
Well, but what's our goal here? To get this person onto the Switch, or just to get them to play something
Right.
other than COD, anything?
Is Rahul
Yeah.
missing the conversation? Like, is that, I wonder? You know, it's just like, what if like he got his wish and he was like, hey, so, you know, remember I went on vacation. I played Breath of the Wild when I was gone. It's like, you did really? And like, yeah. And it's like, did you like it? It's like, yeah, it's cool. He's like, nice. Like, is that the end of it? Or like, what? You know, are you going to demand reports like every hour as he's playing through it? Like, it's interesting. It's usually the opposite. It's like, oh, you play single player games and I'm over here playing Overwatch. Come on over and we can play games together. It's like, I want you to stop playing those games with all those people I don't know and start playing games with yourself. It's a funny request. But, and I just, I don't know. I think, there's only so many hours in the day. Pulling people away from the genres that they love.
Resident Evil.
Tough prospect.
Resident Evil would
you
be
can get
good.
through it quick. There's a lot of like replayability challenge in there. Yeah, that could be a good one.
For a Switch-specific multiplayer experience, Monster Hunter Rise might offer some of the similar kind of
right.
COD
But that's the
vibes,
thing.
like-
Again, that's the question. It's like, are we going to Nintendo or are we going to single player?
Right.
Like, what is the
Right.
shift that we're
Right.
looking for? Yeah.
I think we have some good tips.
Yeah.
I feel confident. It's more than I thought.
Try
we were
them
gonna
all,
have.
and then if all that fails, just show him Kaz playing his little accordion on a rock
Right.
in Breath of the Wild, and if that doesn't melt the heart, I don't know what will.
Next week. Oh, I have an update here from Rahul Masal. None of that worked. Great. Okay.
Yeah, great. Okay, good.
Yeah,
Good.
might take a couple
Trials.
weeks. Let us know.
Trials Fusion.
Trials. Dude, actually, that's a good suggestion.
Patrick Held, a.k.a. Darkened Clouds in chat, says, hope all of you are well. This is the first time I've submitted to Love and Respect. Longtime patron, first-time contributor. Thanks.
Hi.
Mainly because I haven't normally got much to say. This week marks exactly a year since I caught COVID. I'm a primary school teacher from the UK and most likely caught it at school. I ended up getting long COVID. Ugh. And whilst I don't want to go into the ins and outs of it, I've been sick from work for the 10 of the last 12 months. Only just recently coming back to work the last month. During that time, I was often too ill to play games. But as I started to get better, I reverted to playing my quote-unquote comfort game, which for me has always been Age of Empires 2. Incidentally, this has a thriving online community right now with the launch of the Definitive Edition at the end of 2019. It helped me through some pretty dark times in the last year when I thought I would never get better. My question to the panel is this. What is your comfort game that you revert to when things get a little tough? Which game soothes all that ails ya? Which I think is a conversation that we have had every now and then on this podcast, but I think is always fun to bring up again, just in case people are looking for this. Obviously Animal Crossing, but Plants vs. Zombies. Always just, it's like warm oatmeal.
I'm trying to think, like, I'm not sure I game when I need comfort. Or, no, that's not true. I think I play things with my friends, so I think it would be, right now it would be Monster Hunter or Valheim. Probably. But, like, comforting games are, like, Myst and stuff.
Yeah, I mean, it's tricky because I don't think I have, like, anything that's particularly like that. I mean, there would definitely be games that sort of fill that role, but I'm not things that like I go back to over the years necessarily. Like when I played Breath of the Wild, it was like I knew going into that game, it's like, all right, I'm still gonna be playing this game like at Christmas, because this is huge and I just want to sink in every bit of it, and so I'm just going to explore everything I can. And then like Fall Guys was kind of that for a bit last year. Hades was a game that like I wasn't in any rush to try to get to the end. I just like, after every couple other games, like, oh yeah, I'll play Hades a little bit more. But yeah, definitely like some JRPGs like East 9 I just finished, and that kind of fills that role. Like that just felt like a comfort food kind of game.
Actually, I haven't talked about this with Damiani, and I got him on the show. Damiani, have you checked out any of the Immortals DLC, the 2 ones that they added? The Chinese one is pretty cool. It's pretty fun.
I have not.
I liked it when he looked out and was like, here's the whole realm, and it was like 2 mountains. I was like, yes. Like, I'll do it. He's sold. If it was 3 mountains, I don't know, but it's just small enough of a map. It's kind of like, 25% of the original game, 25-30%. So like,
Yeah,
sure, I'll run around and do that.
Yeah, it's interesting you bring that up, because I know it was the last question, but I have kind of in the past suggested that maybe a smaller map for Zelda actually might be more beneficial. The map was maybe too big, so probably why also Breath of the Wild is like would never qualify as like a comfort game. That game is like anxiety for me as playing for that game. It's just like it's so big and so much to do. It just like it's why I'm kind of in the boat where I don't play games for that type of comfort, like peace of mind or recovery or downtime. That's just not where my mind goes when I play video games. I mean, when like I'm in a bad mood or whatever, it's like straight up. It's just I go and I either nicely nudge one of my kitties to come get in bed with me and just like cuddle and like put on my phone and either like listening to like soothing music, or I watch a show, usually like an animated show, just to like takes your mind off everything. And then like that, if it's like, I mean, my maybe too much information, but like the most hardcore thing I'll do if like things are like emotional wreck is like I just go into a shower. Like I will just go into a shower for like 30 minutes and like do my thing in there, and then like get out and be like, all right, I feel much better. Like, whatever I needed to do, like, cry it out or whatever, it's like done. I feel better. I like have a level, like my head is in a better space here. I don't feel like I'm going to do something very bad. Like I'm not going to react badly to stuff right now, so I can go back and like function, a little bit more level headed. It's like the thing I always do, because I think when I was younger, I used to always just like, nope, someone said something bad about me. Well, time to like just destroy this person online. Let's go. Angriest comments. Let's go. I'm gonna like flame you back. It's like that goes nowhere, man. So it's like now it's like something I read that like actually gets to me. It's like, all right, I'm off for a little bit. I'm just gonna take a break. And like I think the thing is usually this stuff is related to games where this is coming from. So I don't want to be thinking about video games while I'm doing that. So I guess it's tied to my job. If I wasn't doing this, maybe I would have better answers for you about which games are my comfort games. Yeah.
Well, that's why, like, you're totally right, because it is our job, and that makes me realize, like, the comfort games I play are like Flip Flop plus Solitaire on my phone. Stuff like that. Because I don't have my game stuff with me.
Game. What's the thing? Airship. You're building the airship city. Put a couple hours into
Airborne
that.
Kingdom.
Yeah, I was like, I don't know if I'm gonna. I got a good amount. The 2 hours I put into it, I was like, this is what I wanted. Thank you.
They're adding a sandbox, or added a sandbox mode, which is something that Don and I had said on our stream. I was like, man, I wish they had a sandbox mode so you didn't have to worry about like resources and stuff. And they added it. Nice. I don't want to say it was because of us, but
totally because of you.
Maybe it was.
Hey, Loot Hero's pretty cozy.
I will definitely say that Sekiro is not a comforting game.
No.
Because I was playing that while I was home with my dad while he was on hospice. Not a good idea.
It's just a challenge. I would like to be challenged.
Soul Calibur 6, though,
every minute of the day
was pretty chill. Like, making characters and just kind of like... Because the stakes are just no stakes.
Yeah, that's good. I was on the verge of saying maybe FTL, but there are those rare times where, like, shit goes wrong in the worst way, even despite everything, and it actually will, like, tilt me, and I'm like, okay, this backfired spectacularly. I'm out.
Loop Hero's been good for that lately.
Oh, Loop Hero. No, I was just saying,
chill.
Because it's you're invested, but it's not, the stakes aren't so high that everything goes south.
Yeah, you never really
it's kind of fun to watch.
That
like,
much.
whoa.
Yeah. Even a bad run, it's like, okay, I got some resources, go back out there.
Takes a while, at least playing it, like, they sent it to us like months before that game came out, so I think maybe they changed some stuff since I've played it, but like, earning enough resources to unlock some of that stuff took a long time.
It does.
Yeah.
You haven't like beat Loop Hero, have you, Blood?
No.
I haven't.
Yeah. I'm not sure if anybody's going to pull that off. I discernedly like kind of wanted to do it. I'm like, I'm going to focus on this, and like I've looped a lot. I've done a lot of loops.
It was.
I think I'm okay.
It was funny. I saw. I don't remember the game, which is good because maybe it's not even out yet. But in a press release for a game that we got a code for, it said like at the very end, it just said this game has an ending.
Yeah, just.
And I was just like, all right. Sometimes that's good to know. Sometimes that's very good to know.
Shout out to Damiani. Shout out to South Park Bigger, Longer, and Uncut. I remember it was around like an E3 or some big event, like an anniversary or something. I was so stressed out. And I remember like before I went to bed, I'm like, I just got to clean stuff up in my garage and I am just losing it. And like, I need something to turn me around. And then, whatever running time is, an hour, 30 minutes, I went from stress to laughing and having a good time. I was like, thank you, movie, for doing what you're supposed to do. For making me forget about things for a little bit. From Andres Newcomb, a game. Guess the review by the YouTube description. Hello, allies. This is an old game that I loved. Shout out to whoever came up with it. I can't remember it. Basically, I'll post the YouTube description of a reviewed game from Easy Allies from the last year or so. I'll censor some terms that might give it away, and you guys shall guess what game it's about. This is really the Daniel Bloodworth game. You really should get all of these.
This is cool.
I
no matter
should.
What.
Well, I will
because
not.
all of these did pass
pressure's
through.
on.
your eyeballs.
Every
maybe
time
for the
these things
rest of
come
us.
up, I'm like, oh, really?
Yeah.
It's because like
Well,
you
if you
need
do
to
get them all
memorize
right away, give us a shot
Let me
at
see.
it.
Oh no,
guess.
I think there's like a couple. There's not many Damiani joints in here, so I think it's like maybe a couple. Though we'll see. Cheers from Spain, Andres. Thank you. Number 1, blending the old with the new. Blank lets you relive the classic Blank adventure with new enhancements that give you a taste of open world platforming with its new campaign. Blank lets you relive the classic Blank adventure with new enhancements.
This is Super Mario 3D World and Bowser's Fury.
It's the most recent one. It's a little easy, kicking it off. Yeah, there you go.
So just double checking in my head.
Damiani knows his
It's
own
funny
work.
because I was guessing Damiani, so at least
Yeah,
it
I
was
was
in the
like
right vein
partially
there.
up
but-
Yeah, well, you said when you said the open world platforming, I was like, oh, Bowser's Fury is the only open world Oh yeah, it is this one, isn't it?
Yeah. Number 2, Blank goes beyond being a simple homage and carves out its own identity in glorious fashion.
That's Brad.
Just because you recognize Brad's description style? You
Yeah.
know it's Brad.
Like,
but you don't know what it is.
Brad. Which game is it?
That's
Whoa,
That's
beyond
Um,
homage.
carves.
I want to say it's like a. It's like it's one of those Metroidvanias or something, I think. But I'm trying to remember.
carves out its
Katana
identity.
Zero?
Oh,
Carves
is it?
out. Carves out.
It's just on the
Probably
tip
get
of
it.
my tongue.
Cyber Shadow.
Cyber Shadow.
Oh.
The glitz and glamour of Blank unfortunately doesn't cover up its rampant bug infestation.
That sounds like Huber. No?
I remember you chuckling at this one, Blood. I think I could call this one. I remember this one coming through the pipe. But
Seems like Ben.
that is
Ben.
Ben. Ben played a game, reviewed it in the last year, had a lot of bugs. Had a lot of bugs. Had a lot of bugs.
But it's not Fallout, because that would be too far back.
No,
No, it's too
Cyberpunk.
There it is.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, of course. Duh.
Blank features a gorgeous, massive environment and lets you explore it in whatever direction you desire, but the emotional highs are achieved more frequently from traveling through its world than taking in its story.
Is that a
It feels
Huber?
like
Curious if you
Feels
could
like
call who wrote that, Blood. Because it definitely does have the characteristics of that reviewer.
Sounds like Brandon.
Yeah, that was me.
Oh.
Because it's long.
I thought it was.
That's
I
you
thought
can
it was
tell.
you
I was
too.
gonna
I
say,
read,
yeah.
I read big meaty sentences from my YouTube
Yeah, I thought
description.
it
That's
was
Watch
Brandon.
Dogs Legion?
It's Pathless,
Pathless.
Oh.
which is a
Oh.
game I feel bad about saying anything bad about because it is wonderful. Could be a comfort game for you. Blank is one of the finest examples of a remake out there, thanks to its stunning visuals, great music, and numerous quality of life improvements. Within the last year.
Xenoblade Chronicles.
Could be Link's Awakening.
No?
Neither.
No.
You were more excited about this than Link's Awakening, Ian. Finest examples
It's
of a remake.
Demon Souls.
Oh, Demon Souls.
Ah.
Yeah, of course.
Blank is
Brad.
bursting at the seams with things to do and goes out of its way to make so much of it worth doing.
That's Ben.
Ben. Yeah.
It is.
Bursting at the seams.
With things to do. It's a game with a story, but there's a lot of other things outside the story that you can do.
Did I cut this?
The
one? I feel
franchise
like
likes to do that a lot, where you have the story, but that there's all these other things too. All this stuff on the side there. You're playing the story, but you're like, I want to do all this other stuff too. Fun things. Mini game stuff, maybe. Some of it involving chickens. Yakuza Like a Dragon, number 7.
Of course, of course.
Yeah,
Blank
my problem
arrives.
is I'm like forgetting like what games came out in the last year. I was like, what?
Ben
I know,
also
that's-
reviews a lot of games, so
I did
it's tricky.
forget that, I think. Or I
Um,
did cut that, I think.
Blank arrives just in time for Halloween to scare the crap out of you! Exclamation point.
I remember that, but I don't.
Is that Huber?
That is probably.
I think that's Huber.
I think it is. Yeah.
What horror game came out right around?
Just in time for Halloween to scare the crap out of you.
Oh, it's one we. Crap, I can't remember. it.
Amnesia.
Yeah, it's
Remember?
Amnesia.
Yeah.
That's it.
Blank is a faithful remake of an underappreciated gem.
That sounds like Damiani and Xenoblade.
No,
now.
who would
That's
say
too short for
unappreciated?
me.
Who out of the allies would probably be championing some game by calling it unappreciated?
Huber.
That's Huber.
Yes. So what was a remake? What's it? So we got the Brad
Strider?
remake,
Resident Evil
Demon
3 then?
Souls. There are some other remakes that he was really into. This was a remake. They completely redid the cast, the voices, the world, and everything.
Not Resident Evil.
Not Resident Evil. Hubert got a fair amount of remakes recently. Lucky guy.
Oh my god.
Mafia
my brain goes
Definitive
blank.
Edition.
Oh, of course, Mafia.
Oh,
9.
sure.
Blank presents an intensely gripping narrative told with stunning visuals. An intensely gripping narrative.
Last of Us 2?
Is
It's a good narrative. Maybe the best.
Last of Us 2?
Maybe
Pump the
the
brakes.
best narrative of 2020.
Final Fantasy VII Remake?
No, this is 13 Sentinels. of
There we
Fen.
go. Yes.
Oh, yeah, of course. An actually good story.
Blank does everything it can and ends up being Superman.
What?
What?
That's fake.
No, I'm curious if you can get it. What could
Blank
that be?
does everything it can?
And ends up being Superman.
I actually don't remember this one.
It's a licensed music
Superman?
joke, I believe.
Oh, so that is
Superman,
bad.
one word.
Or it could be a skateboarding joke. It's Tony Hawk. But I
Oh,
don't
Tony Hawk.
Hawk,
Yeah.
yep.
Oh, of course, because that song is... Yeah.
Okay. Blank is a hard game to pin down, being both a mess and wonderful at the same time.
Sounds like Huber.
Brad?
Hard to
Brad.
pin down is a Benism, so that's Ben.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Being both a mess and wonderful at the same time. Ian, you have some experience with this game, with the franchise, really. You've streamed a fair bit of it. And both games in
Oh,
this
Deadly
franchise are
Premonition.
both a mess and wonderful at
Deadly
the same
Premonition. Yeah.
time.
Yeah, I cut that review.
An intriguing and promising premise isn't enough to keep Blank from feeling like empty calories. It's a game where you eat a lot of things. Number 13 is Blank wonderfully captures the feeling of being a ferocious killing machine. Which is which? Both. Because I know you might be thinking one game where you eat a lot of things, but this is a different game where you eat a lot of
Maneater?
things. That's one of them. That's number
Maneater's
13.
Brad.
Maneater's the second one.
An intriguing and promising premise isn't enough to keep Blank from feeling like empty calories. That is
With Tom?
Carrion,
Oh.
which is Huber, I believe,
They're
right?
both Huber, yeah.
All right.
Or Carrion was Huber.
And finally, Blank lets you grapple with the end of the world and wear silly hats.
That's The Last of Us Part 2. Yeah.
Of course.
Nailed it.
Where's silly hats?
End of the world, silly hats.
Blank lets you grapple with the end of the world and wear silly hats. You wrote this, Blood.
Oh, I wrote this.
You wrote this. I believe. I'm pretty sure you reviewed this.
Blood likes the word
Come on,
silly.
silly hats, man. It's only been a year. Silly hats.
I can't remember any video game.
I'll
Kunai.
know it as soon as that. What's that?
Kunai.
Kunai.
Yeah. Which you reviewed, right?
Yeah.
Then abruptly forgot. My goodness.
That's a cool game. I forgot about the hat bit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a long time. It's been a long year.
Brutal. From Alexander Zurianov, last week, without any prior or even post-factum announcement, the price tag of both PlayStation 5 versions was raised by $40 in Russia. To make things worse, Sony also canceled pre-orders that were made in their official store, including those that were made last year. So those who decided to order PS5 directly from Sony were patiently waiting for months for their turn, are now forced to start from square one and pay extra. I don't have any questions for the panel. I just wanted to bring attention to this because I think that such treatment of your most loyal fan base is unacceptable.
Yeah, that sucks.
I would agree. That's terrible. What the hell?
Yeah. Yeah, that doesn't make any sense.
I am here to report on all of these things that don't make
customer
sense.
service.
That's that.
For the government?
Yeah. I don't know. For Sony.
They've done some other bans and stuff that are no good lately too.
PSP owners, Russians, Sony's got it out. It's time for bets. This week's bet. Season 2 of Sea of Thieves, Seasons of Thieves launches on April 15th. That's a week from today. It's a new one that Ian's trying out.
Ian's
You
got
got
him
freckles and PS1 hair. There's like a sheen.
Yeah,
Green
hair.
One hair.
Yeah.
Nah,
This
that's
is the
PS2
way.
hair.
And sparkles and stars. Oh my goodness.
Ain't no way you're getting anything close to that on PS1.
Ian's not distracting me at all with that. And April 15th, the season 2 of Sea of Thieves launches, the day that we record the next episode of this podcast. At that time, what rank will it hold on Twitch's browse page? Go to Twitch, click on browse, it's all the games people are streaming. Not how many people will be streaming, what rank will it have? It was around mid-30s today, but I checked before the podcast. Ian, what's that number going to be?
Third.
It's going to be third?
Third.
Wow. Damiani, where's Sea of Thieves ending up? That season 2 there.
First.
Oh,
Whoa.
Ahead of just chatting.
I thought I was getting the low.
Whoa. Blood. I got dying to know what blood score's going to be. What the heck?
17th.
Yeah, 25th, man.
Good boost, but not a huge
I just
boost.
wanted the low. I don't know.
Okay. You got it. Or the high, depending on how you think about it.
That's a high.
Yeah.
Well, I guess, whatever.
Next week's bet, last week's bet was Oddworld Soulstorm, which launched on April 6th for the PC, PS4, and PS5 2 days ago. I wanted to know when we're recording this podcast right now, how many outlets will have submitted an official review according to OpenCritic. Ian Hink said 54, Ben Moore said 34, he said 26 and he crossed it out and picked 34. Daniel Bloodworth said 42, I said 22. Nothing against Oddworld Soulstorm. According to OpenCritic, 3 different outlets have reviewed that game.
Wait, really?
According to Metacritic, it's 4. And it came out 2
Wait,
days
is
ago.
that on a specific platform? That's weird.
Because, they split it
If
up
you go to
by platform.
Metacritic, PS5 is the only platform that comes up. And if you go to OpenCritic, they don't specify by platform. It says available on PS4, Xbox One, and PC. And there are 3 reviews.
So strange.
VJC is the review that OpenCritic does not reference on Metacritic, but again, and Game Informer posted something, but they said that their review is in progress.
So they just didn't send that game out early.
I guess not.
Or just, people just don't care about Oddworld.
Let's not get there.
No,
Let's
people
not get
would
into that.
People would have done that.
I know for sure
Yeah.
people care about Oddworld. They are definitely in our comments letting us know about that Oddworld.
I
there,
wasn't
but-
stating that people don't care. I was just positing a theory that maybe that's why.
Shocking.
That is amazing. I'm really surprised.
Even more shocking was that at 22 I won that bet
Oh,
with the low score.
second point.
Is that your
Nice.
second point this year?
Okay, I was feeling good for a second there, all right? I was about to announce the scores. I had a nice little morale boost. That blood just boom, took me out.
Tony jawed you.
Bringing our scores to Jovial Penguins 8.
Bladder control.
Nothing from Damiani. Vociferous Beavers 7.
Nom, 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 nom.
I'm getting it.
Catching up.
Yeah, I'm going to end this podcast. But first, I'm going to tell you about patreon.com/easyallies.
No, you're not.
I'm not.
Oh,
What?
what?
Excuse me?
What happened?
Was something happen? Is there news dropping? What's going on?
Penguin. I get to say my penguin line.
Oh, man. The world's got to wait.
Oh, how much more doth beauty beauteous seem by this sweet egg, which we have scrambled for.
We're the best team, dude.
All right. This seems like a really appropriate time to let you know that patreon.com/easyallies is the backbone of this operation, okay? You've listened to this podcast. You got a sense of what it's like around here. Patreon's holding us up. Without Patreon, we'd be in deep trouble. Without Patreon, certainly we would not have been able to pull off this crazy thing for 5 years now. We are now in year 6 of operation. We just had a very fun anniversary event at the end of last month. And it was not only during that event, it was not only in this year, the past 5 years, we've had a lot of support from our patrons. And they get a lot of fun stuff for it. If you go to patreon.com/easyallies, you can find a lot of exclusive, fun new things that we've added. A soundtrack club for Bloodworth to chart fun soundtracks that happen throughout the year. You can join that club and talk to Blood about these soundtracks. And financially support the allies so we can get to do more content, we get to do more fun things, and be good to our wonderful patrons, our top patrons financially. They're all patrons that we love, but we're just breaking down raw numbers. The very, very top are at a thing we call the shout out tier. I'm going to shout them out, and my fellow panelists and co-moderator are going to help me do it. Ian, you're going first. I'm going after you. Blood, you're going number 3, and Damiani, you are going 4th. Shout out to Alex AI, Caleb Togi Crawford, Edgar So I'm a Spider So What, L Thanos, Greg the Dark Knight Kettering, Nick, Sage Mode Q, and Stephen Thomason.
Shout
Shout
out.
Shout out.
I won the podcast. I get to promote any Easy Allies video I want to promote. I get the final word on anything I disagree with, want to reiterate, or just popped into my head. And I get to sign off with my trademark sign off. Oh, boy. I got a new show. I'm glad I got the one win throughout the run of Mindful Games. This is a new show that I've been doing every week. There are many parts to it. There's Wednesday mornings at 10 a.m. You can check out, well, I'm pitching the show. Really just the last episode that is now public. You can check out it on Abzu. Fun writing text about a review that has no dialogue. It's fun to just kind of like throw all of your thoughts out there. But it's got it. There's a game. There's a little 3-minute chill part at the end of sound effects and music that you can watch to relax. If you want to even go further than that, on Twitch, you can see, this is in the description, so it feels okay to mention it. You can go to Easy Allies Plays, watch my guided meditation that I did on each game. I'm doing that every week. 3 more weeks left. Next week is Spirit Fair, which you can check out early access on patreon.com/easyallies right now. Stoked, actually. Was kind of hoping to win. Maybe this episode or maybe one coming up. Ian doing his best to distract our viewers, but I'm gonna pull you back over here. You don't want to go over there. You want to come back this way, because I'm gonna shout out my wonderful wife with my final word that I can say, because she booked a gig, baby, and it's out, and I can finally talk about these things. And I don't get to talk about them because she booked stuff and it takes forever to come out. Amanda read a book in a series called Twisted Tales that are like what ifs for Disney animated films, and the book that she read was Meg from Hercules. It's a what if story. What if Meg had to become a god, and what are the trials that she would have to do to become a god just like Hercules? And she narrates the whole darn thing. She does Phil. She does all the voices of everybody in Hercules, including Meg. And because of the pandemic, recorded that one at home. So again, shout out to Patreon for making these things possible, that we have been able to do our VO gig from home. And she booked that, and I'm hella proud of her. So I know 2 plugs. There's my silly show, but if you want, just to you can go check out that series. You can go check out Amanda's version. I think it's like 7.5 hours. Go give it a listen. Cheers.
So, like, if this leads to more views down the road, man, is a win for everybody.
Kristen is psyched.